I struggled with the riding part of it. The horsemanship stuff wasn't no problem, but I was a slow learner. I struggled for quite a while. Wayne doesn't like it when you tease him about it, but they used to run to the fence to watch me ride.
Living life, living right. If you want to ride with me, you better hold on tight. All right. Gas is calling for wild rides. Before gas is calling for wild rides. It might be sunny and blue skies, but the forecast is calling for wild rides.
I'm Dale Polkey with Dakota Community Bank and Trust, and I'd like to welcome you to this episode of Wild Rides.
Pretty good place to learn about taking care of yourself and your horse. It's actually probably, as the crow flies, maybe 55, 60 miles straight northwest of here.
Yeah.
And until today, this is the first time I ever planted my feet in the city of Golden Valley. I've driven by a lot, so I'm out on the road out there, but yeah, in the Badlands of North Dakota, people look at you sideways, like North Dakota's flat. Well, some places. Not where I grew up. This is a rough rascal. And I was out of horseback all the time. Leave the house in the morning and Mom never knew where we were at. We'd come back whenever. But it's kind of amazing, and I was wondering about that the other day, 4 or 5-year-old kid wandering off over the hills and the breaks to try to climb the steepest hills you could find. And today that wouldn't be looked upon quite so well. And it all come up from a thought. I'm helping a 25-year-old boy try to learn to ride. And what come to mind was, how far behind is he compared to every little turkey that was this big and in the way and getting your butt chewed all the time for being right in the middle of stuff. But that's where we learn all this cowboy stuff, and it's very hard for somebody to come from the outside at a later date and even attempt to gain the knowledge that we learned from 4 to 15. I had to support my dad and my uncle with buck horses. I wasn't old enough to be getting on, and they would put me on just because I was there being a pain. And I remember trying out horses at 8 years old down there in the one shoot arena, and then we had to bring them back around to get your rigging off, and we'd buck 40 colts a week there, and young horses trying to go through them. And dirt clods as big as concrete blocks out through there, and that's just the way it was. But I had a hell of a support group, my whole family's been involved in rodeo since '59. I sat with my uncle, great uncle Ray Feddick, this morning on the way here. He's 100 years old, and he was telling me stories about going and gathering herds of horses back when he was a young man, before they started the rodeo company. And that was in the 40s. Wayne grew up here in Golden Valley. It's 35, 40 miles away. Brad's not even that far away. And I remember watching all these guys when I was a little bit younger, of course, than Brad, and a few years younger than Wayne. We got to rodeo a little bit in high school together, but I watched them all, and Chad Berger at the high school finals, and my family has been involved with the stock contracting end of it. Dad was always a shoot boss at every high school rodeo there was in the rough stock end since I was old enough to go to them and after I left, you know. And so it was always an involvement, and you got to see the guys that carried on. And there is a ton of other guys here that were hellacious good competition, just didn't work out for them in the big leagues, you know. And there's a handful of them here tonight that were some great hands that come from right in this 100-mile radius of where we're sitting today. We had high school rodeo practices from the time I was like 6 years old on at our little arena, and he never even got mad one time. We couldn't figure out why the bulls weren't fattening up come spring. Well, he was out farming, and me and my sister, I would get her to open the chute gate and stuff. Well, I'd go gather the bulls in. We'd buck all 4 of them before Dad got home from farming. And one day he broke down and come back home, caught us. He never even got mad about it. He just, wondered why they weren't putting on any weight. Never said not to do it again. And so we kind of slacked off for a couple of days. But that man had a heart as big as oak tree you ever saw. If I could muster up half of it, I'd be a hell of a good man. But hard shoes to fill, and was at the volunteer to go work on the arena, clean the arena, whatever. I mean, we picked up garbage our whole life there being kids, but it was all about helping somebody else out. Everybody was mad. It smelled like a bunch of baby changing diapers in there. I thought I was gonna get fined, but they never did do nothing about it.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust is your leading ag lender. We have always promoted farming, ranching, rodeo, and our Western heritage. In 1987, Hugh Connolly won the first saddle we sponsored, and since then we have sponsored nearly 200 saddles to rodeo athletes. We have been a leader in the ag business and the Western way of life since 1940. We have been a proud sponsor of rodeo, ranching, cowboys, and the cowboy way for the last 80 years. Come bank with us at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
When looking for a new financial institution, forget the rest and head west. Head to Western Cooperative Credit Union. Whatever your financial need, we're the best in the West and probably everywhere else too. Western Cooperative Credit Union. Join the herd.
Hey, put on your Justin boots and come ride with us on the Cowboy Channel, Wild Rides.
Matching the truck equipment to the vehicle is very important. You need to match the GVW of your truck to the GVW of your truck equipment. You want to put those together so that when you're out driving around or working in the field, you're not too heavy, you're not too light, you're not overloaded, you're not underloaded. You're setting it up. The truck equipment needs to match the vehicle.
DTE. You know what sounds like fun? Your oasis for fun at the new and improved Four Bears Casino and Lodge. Now that sounds like fun.
I struggled with the riding part of it. The horsemanship stuff wasn't no problem, but I was a slow learner. I struggled for quite a while. Wayne doesn't like it when you tease him about it, but they used to run to the fence to watch me ride. But it's all in good fun. I mean, I would have done the same thing. But I was really small. Like, I graduated from high school, I was 5'1", weighed 105 pounds. And I didn't put on any weight until after wrestling was over that year. I was wrestling at 98, and I was 92 pounder. And through college was a learning lesson, and I fell in with a really good guy in college by the name of Nick Hudson. He just had a way of explaining stuff that I could understand a little better. And then I got in with Shane Call, and in college we hit the circuit rodeos and we rough and tumbled it out, and we figured it out, you know. And then all of a sudden it just clicked for me after that. But it took me a long time. Shane used to tease me that I'd be a first gold card permit holder. Yeah, and that belongs to Bill Larson. That idea. It was a combination of it, but the first year I made the finals, I thought, why not bring a little Western back into the rodeo business? So I built my Angora shafts. And Bill Larson and I were driving to Las Vegas in my old junker car, Chrysler New Yorker with no heater. And in Rollins, we stopped and I went out to the barbed wire fence, got a piece of wire off the fence and wired the flapper open so we could get some more heat coming just out of the motor to come back through there. And when we got to South Provo, where the Wright boys are from. Yeah. We stopped and took off our coveralls and our overshoes. But on the way down there, I was telling Bill, I said, man, them shafts are gonna look cool. They're gonna bring back some old school rodeo. I said, yeah, it'd be cool if we could have that flour sack like they used to in the wild ride, where they tied the flour sack behind the cantle and they had a tape shut and a string in there, and then they'd yank it and the flour would go off. Bill Fold says, well, hell, you could use some baby powder. So, first perf, we're going to the rodeo, go down by the old shop in the casino and bought us 2 little bottles of baby powder. The first time we put it in there, he was pulling my rigging, and I got her out and I folded the shaft back and I was just wadding it in. I didn't know how much. Hell, I had no idea. Get a lot. And horse jumped around and moved, and I put my hand against the chute gate or something, and I had my glove on, and it was plumb covered with baby powder. I mean, it was just like you stuck it in a sock. And I looked at Bill, and he looked at me, and he went like that, and I went, blew it off, and it run in there pretty easy, and I thought, man, I'm gonna squeeze like a son of a buck. And it blew up, and the rest is history. It couldn't have turned out perfect. The horse jumped out and then sucked back and then blew through that smoke. Everybody was mad. It smelled like a bunch of baby changing diapers in there. I thought I was gonna get fined, but they never did do nothing about it. I think the only one that thought that I could go where I wanted to go was me and nobody else, because they were all pretty surprised when I made the first NFR. You know, a lot of the kids I grew up with are people from the area, and even Wayne himself. I come up for Thanksgiving in that first year, and I stopped by Wayne's house, wish him Thanksgiving, and see when he was headed down to the finals. And him and the college boy they were riding the bucking machine. Wayne says, "You want to come out and get on the machine?" I said, "No, hell, I'm good." He thought, "You're gonna find out the first day." After the 10th day, I won 3rd in the average that year, and Wayne comes back and he said, "I guess you were right, you were ready." But I got on, I did things of my own for myself. I went and got 3 head of practice horses from Hank, whom I worked for years, And I didn't get no world beaters. I got just jumping kickers across the pen. So you go back to the basics of it, and I rode them bucks 3 times a week, every week until the final. And I wore them buggers out, but I got on 3 a night for 3 times a week. I was ready. I had my mind right. I didn't know what I was getting into until you step behind the chutes for the first perf. Then it's a whole new ball game. And then you got your emotions to really control there. And I had a little trouble with that for the first couple days. I got into a pickle the other day, and the mind control coming from rodeo came right back and helped me out. I tipped my skid steer over on top of myself, and I was stuck in the cage, and my leg was underneath the skid steer, smashed between the skid steer frame and the pallet, and I couldn't feel my right foot, so I didn't know if it was broke off or dangling or what. I couldn't see it, and all I had to do was I had enough room to put my little bitty size 6 foot into a size 5 hole and smash on the pallet with my other foot. I was home alone and nobody was coming. I asked my dog to run to the neighbor's house and get some help, and she, okay, Dad, okay, Dad. She just wiggled her butt. Okay. And there I was. And I got damn nervous about being trapped, but calm, cool, and collected. You can get through things from rodeo, and I calmed myself down, and I was there for 45 minutes. I finally got out. And so it definitely comes into helpful play down the road, what I learned mentally through that situations of rodeo. You know, being late in the airplane, that was a tough one to figure out. You had too many, everything running through your mind. Or, you know, you get to thinking about the ride that we're going to get from the airport to the traffic lights, you know, the lights and the cars and everything. You get to seeing stuff ahead. You jump ahead somehow, and you can handle the situation. And we've done it a lot. And maybe that helped out. Your uncle, all your friends want you to be a bareback rider until you decide that you want to, then we're wasting our freaking time.
Charbonneau Car Center provides a low-pressure sales experience with great customer service and a variety of models to choose from. We can put you in the vehicle that fits your lifestyle. No gimmicks, no games. Charbonneau Car Center, great service, great savings. Buick, experience the new Buick.
Why settle for free checking when you can have free checking with bells and whistles? Get Kasasa checking at Western Cooperative Credit Union and get rewarded for doing what you do. ATM refunds, interest, cash back, and more. Western Cooperative Credit Union. Join the herd.
Good morning. Welcome to First International Bank and Trust.
Mom, it's Saturday.
Well, I guess I could wait until Monday to deposit your birthday checks.
Whoa, let's not get carried away here.
Okay.
Mobile banking from First International Bank and Trust. Just another way to live first.
There you go. Checks are deposited.
Hey, hun, can you transfer some of those checks into my account?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. This bank's just closed.
Open your account at livefirstmobile.com.
These guys that are riding tonight, they've straightened out our problems in our bar that we raised from the level that we took it from, and we got to. Now they're excelling ours. It's going to get better and better, you know. But the thing is to find the right little feller that wants it bad enough. There's getting to be less and less of them. We did good, but they took what we perfected, and they're perfecting it even better. They're a little more square. There's not as many one-legged guys, you know, and they might not be able to ride the rank horses like we did, but they don't have to. I actually craved them horses, and quite a few guys did. Not everybody did, but it was, the whole point was, rodeo was started as you had horses you said couldn't be rode, and I said, well, by God, we can ride them. And we had us a contest, and that's the contest. They lose track of that. They get into this businessman BS, and it's all about the love of that challenge to me. Whether he's a rank one or he's a hopper, you can make a good ride on a rank one, you can make a great ride on a hopper, but the difference of challenges is the horses, and the judging gets all messed up in that, and I don't even want to get into that. But the whole point is, I felt better by conquering a man-eating beast rather than riding a little old hopper. Anybody could do that, you know. It was about muscling up and manning out, taking that bugger by the horn and taking care of him. The whole thing is you love to do it. Whatever happens can happen later. When I get done doing it and have my enjoyment out of it, whatever happens is gonna happen. I can't do nothing about that. Who cares? That's the way I looked at it. I mean, I didn't care if one was supposed to fall down. I'll ride that son of a gun down and back. Who cares? That's the fun part of it. Yeah. And yeah, that's the vibration and enjoyment that you got out of it, is like you just said, is when you have no care about anything but that's when it all comes together. And the more you force yourself into thinking, oh, this is for the world title, well, pretty soon you're getting all wound up. And the true love of the sport, the activity that you get to do, that is, I'd go back there right now. I'm ready to nod my head on one, you know. I mean, we got us back in that same mode. And Monty Carson and I were talking about that earlier back here. It's just something you can't get rid of. No matter how much your grandma wants you to, no matter how much your girlfriend wants you to, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, all your friends want you to be a bareback rider, until you decide that you want to, then we're wasting our freaking time. But if you decide for yourself, then there's no hurdle you will not go over to get to that. And until you can decide for yourself, your own free will, that is what you want to do, come back. You know, there's a lot of them that, you know, that come to doing it for some other reason. And it's just a disaster looking for a place to happen most of the time. You know, they're not aware of anything. And that's just a good place to get to a bad accident. I mean, there are so many, that arena, you and I look at it and it's like cozy home, but it's not a cozy home for somebody that has no clue what can happen there, you know. It's a scary situation, but I don't try to dissuade them from trying. God knows we need all the bareback riders we can get. And that's part of the reason why there is less today, and there's getting less. It's that little Johnny guy inside every little kid that ain't coming out, you know, the mean little guy, the little guy that wants to play fist fight.
something to remember. We're living life, living right. If you wanna ride with me, better hold on tight. Driving by the moon.